Hello and welcome back to Instagram for Bosses. I'm Andrea and my mission is to simplify Instagram marketing so you can consistently attract ready-to-invest clients without posting every day or living on your phone. Today, we're talking about Reels. And before you roll your eyes and think, oh no, not another Reels episode, I promise you this one is different. Because we're not just talking about what to post, we're talking about what actually works in 2026, what you need to leave behind, and honestly, some of the mistakes I still see really smart, established business owners making right now. Whether you've been avoiding Reels altogether or you've just been posting them consistently and they're not translating into actual inquiries, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. In 2026, Reels are still one of the most powerful content formats for reaching new audiences on Instagram. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. But the game has changed significantly since 2022. And if you're still playing by the old rules, that's why you're not seeing results. Here's what I'm seeing across the board right now. With AI content flooding every platform, people are craving something that feels real. They want raw, they want human, they want to connect with an actual person, not a perfectly polished, suspiciously flawless piece of content that could have been generated by a robot. That's actually the real opportunity here, because the businesses that lean into their humanity right now are the ones that are cutting through the noise. Let me start with the hard truths, because there are some habits that I still see regularly on Instagram, and honestly, I've been guilty of some of these myself. Mistake number one is treating Reels like it's still 2022. Gone are the days where you could just slap a trending audio onto a clip and watch your reach skyrocket. That doesn't cut it anymore. The algorithm has evolved, your audience has evolved, and if your Reel strategy hasn't evolved with them, you're going to keep getting crickets. The second mistake is over-relying on B-roll. I get it. B-roll is quick, it's easy, and there was a time when it performed really well. I stayed in this space for too long myself, I'll be honest. But the truth is, this type of content is starting to become stale. People just don't want to see aesthetic clips of someone typing on a laptop or walking into a building. They want to connect with people. They want to hear your voice, see your face, and know your unique take on things. The next mistake is faceless Reels. Similar to B-roll, the faceless Reel trend has had its moment. When everyone is hiding behind stock footage and text on screen, the person brave enough to show up as a real human automatically stands out. Your face, your voice, your presence, that's your competitive edge. The next mistake is lip syncing and dancing just because it's trending. Now look, I love a good lip sync reel, I really do. But here's the thing, if it's not relevant to your audience and what you do, it's not going to move the needle. Posting these types of reels just because they're trending without relating them back to how you actually serve your clients is just noise. Your audience needs to be able to connect the dots between your content and the problem you solve for them. Okay, so now for the good stuff. What is actually working in 2026? Here's what the algorithm is loving right now, and more importantly, what's actually converting followers into inquiries. First is bold contrarian opinions. There's so much noise out there right now, and one of the most powerful ways to stand out as a leader in your space is to share your bold, unfiltered opinion about your industry. The problem is most business owners are so worried about being disliked that they censor themselves. They play it safe, and as a result, they sound like every other business owner in their niche. Vanilla and forgettable. When you share a bold take on something, you stop the scroll. People sit up and pay attention. You become a thought leader instead of just another voice in the crowd. And that authority, that's what builds the trust that converts followers into paying clients. In my own business, for example, we stand firmly against the idea that you just need to post more and more in order to grow on Instagram. A lot of other Instagram gurus preach that posting daily, posting constantly 3 times a day is what's going to move the needle. We, on the other hand, believe the opposite. Posting less, but posting better, more strategic content. That position is clear, it's distinctive, and it attracts the exact kind of clients we want to work with, clients who care about substance rather than clients who care about vanity metrics. Think about what your version of that looks like. What do you believe in that goes against the grain in your industry? That's your content gold. The next type of reel that is performing really well in 2026 is behind the scenes and showing your process. People love a peek behind the curtains. Showing your audience what you actually do, your unique process, your methodology, it gives them a taste of what it would be like to actually work with you. And that is incredibly powerful imagery to plant in their minds. For example, if you're a bridal hairstylist, you could show the behind the scenes of a consultation. Walk them through how you discuss different styles with the bride, and then show them how you bring those looks to life. If you're an interior designer, you could perhaps take them through a recent project and explain the decisions you made and why. The more they can picture themselves in your client's shoes, the closer they'll be to actually booking with you. The third type of reel that is performing really well in 2026 is longer form content. Here's something that has surprised a lot of people. Instagram now allows you to post reels up to 20 minutes long, and that's not an accident. Longer form content is making a serious comeback. Gone are the days where you felt like you had to cram everything into a 7-second clip. Viewers are sticking around for longer when they're shown content that provides real value. Think mini classes, tutorials, deep dives into your area of expertise. A skin clinic could do a masterclass on how to prepare skin before your wedding day. An interior stylist could break down a recent project, explaining every finish they chose and why. These longer pieces position you as the authority in your space in a way that a 15-second clip simply couldn't do. The next type of reel that is performing well in 2026 is relatable human connection content. With so much AI-generated content flooding our feeds, people are starving for authentic human connection. And this is where relatable reels come in. So something like a funny, relatable skit, or maybe a video sharing a struggle that you or a client overcame and how you navigated through that. Showing the real, messy, behind-the-scenes moments of running a business. These are performing incredibly well right now because they remind people that there's a real human on the other side of the screen, one that they can connect to through real emotions like happiness, excitement, laughter, or even stress and sadness. The fifth type of reel that's performing really well right now is series content. Instagram now lets you link reels together in a series, and this is something I'm genuinely excited about. Think about your latest Netflix obsession, that narrative loop, that need to keep watching. That's exactly what a well-executed content series can do for your audience. My recommendation is to experiment with a few different topics first and see what resonates. Then create a multi-part series on the ones that perform well. For example, a bespoke jeweler could create a series called The Bespoke Journey, where each episode features a different client ring, breaking down the design details that make it one of a kind. People will binge it and they'll come back for more. And the final type of reel I want to speak about today is the timely or topical content reel. Reels around current breaking news or cultural moments are incredibly powerful for stopping the scroll. The key is making sure that they're relevant to what you do. A makeup artist, for instance, could post a tutorial recreating a celebrity look from the Oscars that recently happened over the weekend. That kind of top-of-mind content captures people's interest because it taps into what they're already thinking and talking about. Now that you know the types of reels that are moving the needle in 2026, let me quickly cover a few things on the technical side that I want you to keep in mind. Hooks are still everything. The first line of your reel, whether it's on-screen text or spoken, is what stops the scroll. Without a strong hook, nothing else matters. Every reel needs to open with something that makes your ideal client think, that's me, or I need to know this. Instagram search is now optimized for keywords, not just hashtags, and in fact, hashtags are kind of irrelevant now. Your captions are essentially SEO for the algorithm. So use the words your ideal clients are actually searching for, and you'll get your content in front of the right audience. And on the topic of length, as I mentioned earlier, longer form content is coming back. Don't feel pressured to keep everything under 30 seconds. If your content provides genuine value, people will watch. Give yourself permission to go that little bit deeper. Now, I know some of you are thinking, this all sounds great, Andrea, but I hate being on camera. I cringe at the sound of my own voice and I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm just so awkward. I feel you. I really do. I used to hate the sound of my voice, which probably sounds funny coming from a podcaster, but honestly, I would cringe every single time I had to record myself. And I want to be really honest with you here because I think honesty is more useful than false reassurance. Yes, it can feel really uncomfortable at first. That's completely normal when you're doing something new or putting yourself out there where others can judge you. It can feel overwhelming and incredibly intimidating. But here's the reframe. Business isn't easy. Succeeding in business has its challenges, and whenever you step into your next level, it's always going to feel uncomfortable at first. The thing is, confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Think of it as exposure therapy. The more you commit, the less intimidating it becomes. When I first started creating videos, I practiced filming myself at home on my phone. I didn't post anything, I just committed to recording videos every day to get used to being on camera, hearing my voice, seeing how I looked, and practicing what to do with my hands. And eventually it got easier and easier until it's almost become second nature now. Do I still struggle sometimes? 100%. I was recently up at the Gold Coast for a business event where we had to record reels in a setting with a lot of other people watching. At first, I found it super awkward. I was fumbling my words, I couldn't get my thinking clear, but I persisted, and in the end, it all worked out. Like most things in life, practice makes perfect. And here's the truth. If your reels aren't perfect, that's actually better, because who can relate to someone who is perfect all the time? Your audience doesn't need you to be flawless, they need you to be real. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with two things. If you've been listening to this episode thinking your Instagram isn't actually set up to generate inquiries, I want to invite you to take my free Instagram assessment. It takes less than 3 minutes and it'll show you exactly where the gaps are in your current strategy and what you should focus on first. The link is in the show notes, so go take that now while it's fresh in your mind. And if you're ready to stop figuring this out alone and you want a strategic partner who can take Instagram completely off your plate and turn it into a consistent inquiry channel for your business, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Book a free strategy call with me and we'll take a look at where you're at, where you want to be, and whether our agency is the right fit to work with you. That link is in the show notes too. Okay, so whether you've been recording reels or you've been posting them and wondering why they're not converting, I hope this episode gave you the clarity to take real action. Pick one thing from today's episode, just one, and go and implement it this week. And if you do, make sure you tag me at Andrea Marie Creative so I can go and cheer you on. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If this episode resonated, take a screenshot and share it on your Instagram stories. Don't forget to tag me at Andrea Marie Creative because I love seeing who's listening and chatting with you over on Instagram. And if you haven't already, make sure you're following the show so you don't miss the next episode. If you really want to make my day, you can leave a rating and review because it really helps the show to grow and impact more business owners. I hope you have an amazing week and I'll catch you in the next one.